Have you ever noticed how quickly people are expected to have an opinion now? A news story breaks, someone posts something online, a controversy starts, and within minutes, people are demanding, "What's your take? Which side are you on? Say something." But what if we don't know enough to say something? What if we're confused having an opinion with having wisdom? Welcome to Unpolished but Called. I'm Katherine Schaefer. So we're going to get into it today regarding this topic, regarding why do we need to have an opinion on everything? All right, we're going to start off with a scripture today, Proverbs 17:28. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise, and he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. So the Bible says sometimes wisdom looks a lot like silence. Interesting. But we feel pressure to have an answer. Nobody wants to look uninformed or feel left out. And nobody wants to admit, I don't know enough about this. So we form opinions before we've gathered information. This is why this topic we need to talk about. Because social media, oh my, is rampant. I don't usually post anything on social media about any hot topics. Not because I'm not informed. I'm going to be honest. It's because I don't like to, because everybody posts about it. I mean, it's everywhere. As soon as something happens, a cajillion people, it's all over my newsfeed. And I just don't want to be one of those people. Um, because it's just an ocean of opinions and everyone's got one. Um, and why? Not that I don't have an opinion or that I have a thought or, but I mean, do I have all the information? Because sometimes the initial information that comes out, okay. So, we have a couple of, we have a celebrity and an influencer. The one's getting a divorce, the other one is separated. Okay. Um, what information do we actually have about these two couples that are going through this life altering situation? We don't. Also, is it any of my business? No. If my husband and I were going through a divorce, would I want thousands and thousands of people weighing in on my life? Probably not. So I choose to keep my opinion to myself because it's really none of my business. Does it really affect my life? No. Is it any of my business? No. Do I have enough information to um an opinion or a post about it? No. Again, circle back to the other two questions. Is it any of my opinion? Is it any of my business? No. So I mean, because information is not wisdom, right? We live in a world overflowing with information, but information and wisdom are not the same thing. Just because we know facts, and half the time we don't even know facts, we know what was given to us, doesn't mean we understand them. So just because we've watched 3 videos does not mean we're experts. So just because we've watched a couple people talk about it doesn't mean all of a sudden we're an expert on that person's life. Um, just because we've watched somebody post, even if they've posted 100 videos of their life, do we really know about their marriage? Do we really know about their life behind the scenes of what they're letting us see? No. Right. So, again, information is not the same as wisdom. So we have to be careful about what we're weighing in on. And so I just choose not to weigh in on certain topics or hot takes or things that are going around on social media because again, 90% of it is none of my business. Um, so that's the first thing. Um, but social media rewards instant reactions, right? I mean, that's kind of the whole, it's almost become its first job. The fastest voices often get the most attention, right? The first ones out of the gate um, get the most views, get the most likes, reactions, comments, right? They're going to make obviously money because it's social media. But the fastest voice isn't always the wisest ones because um, they might not have all the information. So we react, we repost it, like we share it, we comment. We make our own videos based on what the information they've given us. Then later we discover we didn't have the full story. Then what? Then what happens? We don't look so wise now. Now we kind of look foolish a little bit. Or we have to send an apology video and it makes it ugly. I mean, most people don't. I did notice that a lot. Some people have said some really hurtful things and they just move on with their day like nothing ever happened, which I don't like either. I don't like those people. Because I feel like if you're going to say something that's hurtful to somebody, you should um, have enough integrity to say, oops, I apologize. I probably should have waited or had more information or thought about it before posting on it. But that's not how social media works. Unfortunately. It's sort of like the entertainment world, right? The paparazzi, they're ruthless as well. They're just as bad. Paparazzi are the original social media, before social media came along. Um, but we need to remember that Jesus didn't answer every question. So I mean, people constantly question Jesus, but we need to remember he didn't always give the answer they expected. So sometimes he answered with a question, sometimes he stayed silent, and more than times than not, he walked away. He wasn't controlled by everyone's demand for a response. And I think that's my always biggest takeaway. Like, and I actually just talked about that with my husband. We were talking about something. I don't remember what we were talking about. And I said, Jesus walked away quite a bit. And I think more than people realize. Um, there was plenty of times where Jesus didn't answer people. He didn't respond. He just could be bothered. He just walked away. And I don't think we do that enough. I don't think as a society we do that enough. We feel like we have to give everybody a response, and we don't. Not everybody deserves a response. Not everything requires a reaction or a response. Um, and society now, it's almost expected. Like, and it doesn't. You know, um, Silence is okay. Walking away is okay. Um, it's okay not to get into an argument with every single post that you see or everything that you disagree with. It's okay. It's okay that you don't. If you disagree with something, it's okay that you scroll by. I do it lots. I actually do it all the time. Um, all the time. Um, Sometimes I will respond, but I don't respond to start an argument or debate. Sometimes if I do decide to comment, It's usually to ask questions and to get clarification. Um, because that's how I I I debate. I don't debate. I don't know what what the actual wording is for what I'm trying to do. I guess I'm trying to figure out where they're coming from. And I think I said that in a previous episode last week. Is I'm the way I communicate and the way I guess debate, if that's the word you want to use, is I try to figure out where that person is coming from or where they got that idea from. So I try to ask questions because I don't know where they're coming from or where they got that idea from because I need to be able to put myself in their shoes. Um, but a lot of times I stay silent. There's a lot of things online that I'm like, that's a lot of hate. I don't get into the whole controversy of things or rage bait. There's so much rage bait out there. Oh my goodness. I don't get into that. I can't be bothered because I know what it is. I see it a mile away. That person's just trying to get comments. And kudos to them because they're successful because I know what they're doing, and I'm kudos to them. They're just trying to pay their bills. If it's working for them, good for them. But to me, that's not a healthy, organic way of getting what you're trying to get. To me, I'd rather do it through honest conversation and interactions and engagement. And with that said, if you're looking for more than podcast episodes, I also send a weekly email called Walking It Out with Catherine. You can subscribe for free through my website at catherineschaefer.com using the link in the show notes. And don't forget to hit the follow or subscribe button so we can stay connected for more of these conversations. So, um, yeah, like I'd rather have organic conversation or because I don't want to make you guys angry just so you guys follow me or comment or like that wouldn't be me. That's just not my vibe anyways, but um and we want to have some sort of humility because that's the whole point of being Christ-like because humility can say I don't know. Um And there's just so much freedom. Like when I used to be scared of saying I don't know because I didn't want people to think I'm stupid. Um, and here I am. Sometimes I really don't know. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm talking about, and I kind of go off track a little bit. But there's so much freedom in saying I don't know, because how are you going to learn anything if you think you know everything? Right. And I mean, I think most of us learned that in school. But as adults, we get taught, or somewhere along the way, I don't know when it is, but somewhere along the way, we get this idea in our head that we can't look, we have to know everything. I don't know if that's like in our teenage years or whatnot, but somewhere along the road, we get this idea that we also have to know everything. Otherwise, people are going to think we're absolute knuckleheads. Um, it's impossible to know everything. And it's okay to say, I don't know. Like I haven't studied that enough. I don't know. I'm still learning. Let me think about that. I don't have an opinion yet. It's okay. And it's not weakness. It's just humility. And it's okay to have that. I've said it a lot since studying the Bible. So much. I think I have more questions than I have answers because every time I read something or start going through and connecting things, I have more questions because I'm like, I still don't understand how this works. Or now I have more questions over here because now you opened up my eyes over here. But now I don't understand because now what I learned over here doesn't make sense because I don't know how that connects. So anyways, which I think is good, but I don't know, has become a huge part of my vocabulary. So, um, but I think I don't know if I don't know how many people have studied Ecclesiastes. But our church did a whole study on Ecclesiastes, and it was amazing. Um, if you're interested, it is on YouTube. Our church puts all of our studies on YouTube channel, not my YouTube channel. They have their own. But so if you're interested, feel free to message me on Facebook under the same name, Catherine Schaefer. You can reach me out there. Otherwise, I'm just going to read you a quick scripture from there because it's probably, I mean, the whole Bible is probably my favorite book, but um, Ecclesiastic was a fun time to go through. So this one is from Ecclesiastes 3:7, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. I remember when we read that in church, and I don't even I can't even tell you, like, it was like a dart hit me, like, I was like, "Oh, okay, I hear you." Because not everyone requires a commentary, like, because I used to be one of those people, like, if somebody said something and I didn't agree with it, or I had an opinion, or I had a thought, that thought had to come out of my mouth. It had to come out of my mouth. And, I learned very quickly in Ecclesiastes, it's not the case. That was a hard one. Took a lot of practice. So, besides this podcast where I'm allowing myself to speak openly. But I use a lot more restraint, and not that it's like hard, um but it's become easier because Jesus. But it's nice because even if I disagree with something, like, I can scroll through Facebook now, and it's great because it brings me such peace, because I can look at a post and be like, "Oh, wow, that's a crazy post," and not feel compelled to comment on it. There's such freedom and peace that comes with that, and just be like, "Okay," and just keep scrolling. Where before there was this, like, a almost a need that I had to post on it, that I had to comment. And I used to love debates. Like when I was a teenager and in my 20s, I used to seek out, and I'm going to let you in on a secret. I used to intentionally debate people, and whatever side they were on, I would always pick the opposite so I could debate them. So even if I was in my 20s and my teen years, so even if I didn't agree with them, like, even if I didn't agree with that viewpoint, I could debate that viewpoint. So I, like, intentionally debated people just out of joy. So for me now, like, we're talking like 20 plus years later, to be able to scroll past those type of posts, that's huge. I mean, we're talking like the Lord has done some work in me. Okay. If that's not a test. Oh, anyways, just wanted to share that. So, I mean, because my family, my German side of the family, they love debating. They love arguing. They love debating. That's what I grew up with. They love that stuff. And even like theological debates. Like if I think that's the one I struggle with still the most. If I see something online, and I don't know a lot of theological, like, I'm just learning, right? But if I see something that I'm confident that I'm like, "Oh, I know that's right," like, I know that's wrong, sorry. If I know that's wrong, like, in my head, I'm still like, "Oh, you could debate that." Like, the little voice comes in, like, "You could debate that." because you do know the answer. I have to be like, "No, we're not that person anymore. We don't do that." And then I'm like, "You're fine. You can." I'll read the comments just to get, sometimes I'll read just the comments and be like, "Well, let's see what everybody else is saying." And I might like a couple that I agree with, and that's as far as it goes. That's it. I'm just like supporting now, and I'm very proud of that. So so that's where I'm at. That's where my growth has, and I'm very proud of that because I've noticed that sometimes we're so busy forming an opinion that we never stop to learn. So that's that's where I'm at in my learning because we've become uncomfortable with uncertainty. But growth often begins when we're willing to admit we don't know everything. And that's okay too. Because we have to be willing to admit. And I think that was the big crossing point for me was I had to be okay with not knowing everything. Does that make sense? Right? Because we have to break those chains of, I know everything. I'm the smartest person in the room. We have to break that cycle because we don't. We don't know everything. The Lord knows everything, but we don't. We're just dumb sheep that fall into holes that the Lord has to dig us out of. Fall on my face, smash my face on walls, run into glass doors. You know what I mean? Like, let's be realistic. He's already calculated how dumb I am every time step foot out of my bed. And I'm going to make dumb mistakes. He's already calculated for all the dumb things I'm going to do every day. Um, so anyways, so that's what we have to keep in mind. We have to be willing. It's always that willing spirit, that willing heart, and that heart posture that comes into play. So maybe wisdom isn't having an answer for everything. It's knowing when to speak and when to stay quiet. And maybe maturity isn't winning every debate. uh, maybe maturity is being willing to keep learning. Good thing we just had that discussion. So when was the last time you simply said, I don't know? All right. Thanks, friends, for hanging out with me today. And we will talk again real soon. God bless.